On today's tutorial, we are making something a bit different. We are knitting. So get your 4.5 millimeter knitting needles, and we'll be using this brand of yarn. It's called Alice 100% acrylic, and it is 100 grams and 200 meter. And you'll also need a tape measure. We are going to start by taking our hips measurement. For me, my hips measures up to 39 inches. Keep that number in mind, or whatever number you're going to use. And then we're going to take our needles, and first we're going to make a gauge swatch. We are going to knit a small piece so that we can know how many stitches we'll need for our skirt. We are going to start casting on our first row. So you're going to take your yarn, ensure you have a long tail, and you're going to do this. Take your yarn, put it between your two fingers, your thumb, and this finger. And then you're going to take your needles. Honestly, if you have a better method of doing it, feel free to do it. The first one does not usually turn out good for me, but that's okay. I use it to set the foundation. And then for the next one, take your yarn, make like a turning motion, insert your hook, and insert your hook in the yarn on the thumb, pull through. You are casting on your stitches, just like that. So repeat that until you have 20 stitches. You're counting from this one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'll meet you guys after that. We are done with our 20 stitches. So we are going to pull through one side of our needle. Then you're going to turn our work this way. Once you do that, we are going to be working on the back side of our work. So insert your hook this way. Take your yarn over and pull through like that. Insert your hook, pull through. The first row, really, we are just getting the hang of things. We are done with our first row. We are going to move on to our second row. We are inserting our hook this way. We are knitting and keep count of your stitches. Don't miss any stitch. If you started your row with 20 stitches, you should have the same when you end your row. And from here now, everything is moving pretty fast. We are going to move on to our third row, and we'll just keep repeating the same thing. So we will be knitting until we have a total number of 20 rows. I'll meet you guys after you've done 20 rows. We're basically repeating the same thing until you get 20 rows. I made a different swatch, and this is what I have. This is my 20 rows. So what you do once you finish making your gauge swatch, you're going to take your tape measure and you're going to measure the width of your work. So from here up to the last stitch, that's around 6 inches, and then I'm going to stretch my work because my work stretches, so that's around 9 inches. So write that down. The width is 9 inches. You're going to also measure the height of your work. This doesn't change. This will help you to determine the length of your skirt. So measure from here up to here. Don't stretch it. You measure it as it is. So that is 4 inches. So the height of our work is 24 inches. And remember, our hips, we have 39 inches. So we want to determine the amount of stitches we'll need so that we can make a skirt that will cover our 39 inches. For us to determine how many stitches we need for our skirt, we are going to take 9 inches, which is the width of this, is equivalent to 20 stitches. You remember the stitches we made when we were starting our row? And then we want to know if we have 39 inches, which is the number of our hips, how many stitches we will need. Okay? So what you do, you're going to multiply 39 times 20. That is going to give us 780. And then you're going to divide that.
Divide by 9, not by 2. I'm sorry for that.
So for my skirt, I'll need to chain 86 stitches. So for any size, just use this method for you to be able to get an accurate number. I got 86.666, so you just round off to whatever number suits you. Also factor in that your work stretches, okay? I'll start my work by making a chain that is equivalent to 86 stitches. You're going to take your yarn and we are going to cast on our first row. So hold your yarn this way and you're going to insert your hooks like this and pull through. Okay? And this is going to count as 2 stitches. Then insert your hook, both hooks, pull through. Once you've done the first one, everything moves on pretty quick. But if you have a different method of casting on your yarn, don't worry, you can use that method. I'm still a beginner at knitting, so don't be too hard on me. So if you have a different method of doing this, feel free to do it. So we are going to do this until we have 86 stitches. I'll meet you guys after that. We are done. This is our 86 chain. So we are going to remove our needle, one needle, and we are going to pull through this one like that. And then we want to work in a circle. Ensure all your stitches are lined up correctly on the inside, and then we are going to knit in circle. So take your stitch marker. We are going to put it here, and then we are going to start our knitting process. Move your stitches. Going to start knitting. We are knitting in circles. And we are putting our stitch marker there so that we can know where we started our row. So we are going to repeat this. I'll meet you guys when you get to this point. We are back at this point. We are going to make our last stitch. First, ensure all the stitches are lined up correctly on the inside. And then we are just going to join our work seamlessly, just like that. And we are just putting our stitch marker there just to get to know where we are starting our new row. Okay? And now you just continue everything in a circle and everything is joined together. I'll meet you guys at this point again. We are back at this point again. So from this row, everything will just be seamless. Move your stitch marker and everything works really perfectly and seamless. I'm going to meet you guys after I've done a couple of stitches, like 10, and then we'll proceed from there. We are back. We've done like 12 rows. We're just basically repeating the same thing. This is what we have after we've made a total number of 63 rows. So I want us to make a few more rows, 7 more rows, and then we'll start making our waistband. And for you to know the length that you need for your skirt, you just measure these. So this one measures up to 4 inches. So you're going to take maybe 4 times 4. And that is going to give us 16 inches, and then you start making our waist. Anyway, we are going to repeat this until we have 70 rows. I'll meet you guys when we are ready to start making our waistline. We are done. I've made a total number of 70 rows, and I'm going to start measuring from the top, from here. That is up to down here. That's 14.5 inches. That's enough for me. So the next part, we are going to start making the waist. And for the waist, we are doing things a bit different. So first things first, I need to get my stitch marker. It fell off. For the waist, we are going to insert your hook like usual. You make you knit one side, and then you bring your yarn to the front like this. This is called purl. You just alternate between doing that. Take this to the back like that. You knit like that, and then bring it to the front. You insert your hook on the front part of your work like this. Put your yarn through, then you pull through. So you're just alternating. Put it, return it like that. You do your usual stitch and then bring your yarn to the front and you repeat the same thing. Once you do a couple, you'll be able to get the hang of it. I'm an absolute beginner, so just remember that. We are forming like these nice ridges, like this. Anyway, I'm going to finish off this row. I'll meet you guys at row 2. We are on our last stitch. We're going to make our last stitch like that.
and pull through, and then we're going to take our yarn to the back. Move your stitch marker like usual. After that first row of our waist, the stitches are clear. You can see how everything looks like. So on this first stitch, we are just going to make our normal knitting stitches. Then in this second stitch, we are going to do our front knit. I should probably find the names of these stitches. And then take your yarn to the back, and we are basically repeating the same thing. So I'll meet you guys after I've done like 5 rows so that you can see the progression of everything. And then we are going to move on from there. So just basically repeat the same thing. Alternate between the front knitting and the back knitting, if that makes sense, so that we can have a very, very nice waist.
This is what we are having. It looks really nice. I promise it's different from the other part. I hope you can notice. It looks really nice. I've already done like 6 rows. I think I'm going to do 4 more. I'll meet you guys after we are done, and I'm going to show you how to finish off your skirt.
We have done 10 rows of the ribbing. This is going to be the waist area of our skirt. We are going to essentially finish off our work. Since we started, we finished our row with a purl. We are going to just do the same thing we are doing. Bring the yarn on the front. Bring the yarn at the back, like knit like usual. 1. And then bring the yarn to the front like this and make your purl. That's what that is called. I did some investigating. Pull through like that, and then what you're going to do, these 2 stitches that you've made, you're going to knit them together on top of each other. Okay, so take this first stitch that you made, put your needle right there and pass it through like that. Once we have done this, we are going to continue. So this is a knit side, so we are going to insert our hook on this side, and you knit it like that. And then we're going to take this loop that we made on this side and put it against our stitch, just like that. And then you're going to bring your yarn at the front. This side we have a purl. Put our yarn through like that. Pull through. Now we have 2 loops on your hook. We're going to take our and pull that against that one like that. As you can see, our work is closing off. Let's do another one. We have a knit on this side, so we're going to take our yarn on the back side, make your usual knit stitch, and then insert your hook. Pull through just like that. Bring your yarn to the front because we have a purl. We are going to repeat this until you only have one stitch left on your needles. I'll meet you guys there. And on our very last stitch, we are going to cast off this last stitch. And that's it. Remove your needle, and I'm just going to take my crochet hook, old habits, and make a slip stitch just to ensure everything is good. Chain 2 and cut off your yarn, pull through, and that's how you are going to finish off your work. This is what your skirt should look like after you're done. Let's measure it and see how many inches. It's around 16 inches or 16.5. So for this bottom part, I think I'm just going to hide this yarn. We're going to try it on and then we'll move on from there.
So I want to add in a few pointers to note. If you're a size medium, I recommend you add more rows for your length. I did 70 rows. I think do 80 rows just because the skirt rolls up a bit. Yeah, that's the only thing you need to note. But other than that, I've tried on my skirt. It fits comfortably. Yeah, so just factor in that the skirt rolls up a bit and add a few more rows. Anyway, we are officially done with our skirt tutorial. I hope you can be able to knit yourself a nice mini skirt or a nice maxi skirt. Thank you so much for watching. Kindly subscribe and let me know what you think in the comment down below. Have a good day. Bye bye.